welcome back to Bombshell TV. My name is Kashira. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Today I am here to do a story time video. This is my first time doing a story time video, and I've been promising this for the last couple of weeks on my Snapchat and Instagram stories around telling the story of the launch of Life of a Bombshell Cosmetics. So if you watched my last video, you saw that I did launch my own cosmetics company, Life of a Bombshell Cosmetics. I showed you the glosses and lipsticks and accessories and things that we offer starting off. The company launched April 7th, and our website is lifeofabombshell.com. So the purpose of today's video is to tell you about the why and the how behind how I launched this company. And I played with the idea of doing this like on live stream, Periscope, or Facebook, but I put a poll up on Twitter and everyone overwhelmingly wanted a YouTube video. I guess maybe because it's easier to go back and reference to, but I do have my notebook of points just as if this was a live stream. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at to stay on track. So let's get into it. So first of all, where did the idea of Life of a Bombshell come from? So I was actually having a conversation last year with someone around how I wanted to expand my business, which if you don't know, my business is called the KSM Group, and it's a branding and marketing strategy firm, and it's all service based. I do have electronic products, so I have ebooks, workbooks, and classes that you can take on branding and business. So those are available, and I will leave the link down below. But I wanted a different kind of business. I wanted to add a product-based business to my collection, because with service-based businesses, your revenue is limited to basically how much time you have, how many clients can you take on, how many contracts can you have at once, how many calls can you make at one time. And I can't be on the phone 24 hours a day. So that just limited me in my ability to continue to grow. And though I've seen growth year over year, I just wanted to see a little bit more, and I felt with products it was a little bit more limitless in terms of what I could do. But I didn't want to have a product-based business just to say I had one. I wanted to see something that I was passionate about. And one thing that I always tell my clients and put them through is, if you have a lot of passions and you're struggling to figure out what your purpose is, just sit back and take a reflection. What do people consistently come to you for advice on? What are you the go-to person in your circle for? What do you find yourself mentoring, coaching, or teaching people to do? Who do you find yourself coaching, mentoring, and teaching? And that's going to give you a lot of insight on the type of business that you should have and who you serve. So outside of branding and business stuff, which the KSM Group encompasses that, people always come to me about my hair and my makeup. And though I love hair, I love extensions and all of that, I don't know enough about hair to really have a thorough conversation with you on it. I could just tell you the brand and where I got it or who did it. And that didn't appeal to me. The idea of selling hair just did not interest me. But when it comes to makeup, like, I just light up. Like, I love talking about makeup. I love talking about products and brands. If you guys see this channel, you know I'm always doing a favorites video, and there's always so much makeup in it. I can spend forever in Sephora or in the department store in the beauty section. You know, I have a friend, like, we go to Sephora just to like hang out and try new things. I try all kinds of products. Like, I don't have a certain brand that I'm loyal to. I'll try anything from what's at CVS to online to department stores, right? So I'm also one of those, I'll spend a good coin on makeup. So that kind of rung like a little light went off of my head. And I've always in the back of my mind had an interest in having a cosmetics company, but it just seemed like something that was out of reach. Like, it didn't seem like something that would be feasible for me at this point in my life. So I just kind of pushed it off. So anyway, came up with the idea of doing it, and I instantly had a name, Life of a Bombshell, because if you read my blog, this is hermovement.com, you know I call my readers busy bombshells. That's what they are. You know, her movement is for the busy bombshells of the world. So Life of a Bombshell brings that lifestyle piece of the brand to life. So busy bombshells are moguls in the making, you know, jet setters, career women, women who are building their brands both in their 9-to-5s, outside of their 9-to-5s. They have an entrepreneurial spirit. They may not want to have a business full time, but they are having some kind of side hustle, whether that's doing hair, doing makeup, selling something, coaching, consulting, speaking, volunteering, sitting on boards. Like they have some kind of hustle outside of their 9 to 5 that's building their brands, and that's what her movement's all about. So Life of a Bombshell is the makeup for that woman. Life of a Bombshell is all about the up and coming moving and shaker who recognizes that though appearances aren't everything, you do need to look the part of your brand. However, you don't have to go bankrupt to do that. Like you don't have to spend an arm and a leg to look great. So I wanted to create an affordable, accessible brand that still had that same feel of luxury and sophistication as your favorite department stores. And by the way, this lip color is a little faded because I've had this on literally all day. But this is from my line. It's called Go Getter. It's one of the cream lipsticks. So, which takes me into, now that I had the idea, I got into research. So I'm a big fan of anytime you get a new idea, like research is the first phase. Like you need to get in there and understand the industry that you're getting into. How saturated is it? Who are the major players? Who are the up and coming players and potential disruptors? What does your industry look like on a macro level and on a micro level? What's happening locally as well as online? So in the makeup space, it's people assume that, okay, you're just competing with department stores and drugstores. Okay, well there's a host of online brands that you're competing with, BH Cosmetics and ColourPop, and then of course others up and coming startup brands out there. So you want to have a thorough understanding of the landscape and truly figure out, does this market make sense for me to play in, and understanding who your competitors are, understanding what potential threats are, so that before you even start spending money, you understand the feasibility of this. So after I started to get into the market, basically how I started to understand the industry is I just started to do research on just like cosmetics industry in general, and I found a couple of websites that are all about beauty news globally and changes in the industry. I subscribed for their mailing list. And then additionally, I started to up my game on reading just everyday beauty blogs. So I always watch YouTube videos, YouTube tutorials and hauls, but I've made it a conscientious effort to start reading more beauty blogs, because those beauty blogs are they're the first to know about what's up and coming. They're always on the PR news wire and all of that stuff. So I was really in tune to what are the new hot things, right? What are the new trends coming up for spring, summer, and fall. Then I started to research, well, how am I actually going to get products? Because I'm not the type to be in my kitchen trying to mix something up and then there's a whole FDA approval process. So to be transparent, there's 3 ways to get products. There's making it yourself, there's private label, and there's direct sales, aka network marketing, also known as multi-level marketing. So making it yourself, you get whatever the ingredients would be, you go and whip it up and it's fine. Private label means there is a company that is selling you makeup products and allowing you to put your branding on it. That's what I have, private label. Some of your favorite companies like Kylie Cosmetics is private label. And then there is network marketing. So network marketing is Mary Kay, Avon, Lip Sense, where you are working with a larger company and you're selling their brand, their products. You can put your own little tweak on your marketing, but basically you're selling products that already have their own brand story, and you get a commission from those sales. So depending on who your network marketer is, you can get 30%, 40%, 50%, 80%, whatever, and there's perks with it. You also get paid for recruiting people to join the team and become a sales consultant or whatever they call it. So as I was researching, I knew making it myself wasn't going to work, and I knew network marketing was not for me. I want to have power over my brand. I want to have power over my marketing. I want to have power over everything. I don't like having someone tell me what I have to do with my brand. That's why I've spent the last 4 years building my own followings and my own brands so I can do things how I want to do them. I also don't like the concept of having to buy into something. Like, it's basically a job and you have to pay. Like, I'm not a fan of that. And then I also don't like that you get more incentives for recruiting people to join than you do from actually pushing a product. And so that just leads me to feel like it's a scheme. And I know that not all network marketing companies are a scheme. I'm not saying Mary Kay and Avon or any of that, because I actually use those products. It just doesn't feel right to me, and it doesn't align with my values on business, and it also doesn't give me the level of control that I want. So I knew I had to go private label. But this is where things get hard, because it's just difficult to find those suppliers, and like simple Google searches like using certain terms was not working. So at this point I realized I need some support, I need some help. So what I did is I went into 2 Facebook groups that I'm in, and I posted that I was looking for someone that'd be willing to spend an hour with me on the phone who has started a makeup company before, private label, or has the expertise in it, and I would be willing to either pay them or barter. I would offer them in return brand strategy support or social media support if they wanted. So I got a lot of people that reached out about that, but only one really made an effort to follow up with me. And we actually didn't even have a call. We just had a really long Facebook message conversation. Her name was, I believe her name is Holly, and she was so sweet and so nice and just gave me all this info. And I just told her, hey, if you ever need anything, like you don't even have to ask. You just let me know what it is. And so she gave me the tea on basically finding suppliers, and that's the hardest thing. Like when you're trying to make your own product companies, is finding the suppliers. So I started to look for suppliers, and I found a couple that really stood out to me. And so the next step is, when you get your product-based business, don't just pick a supplier based on their website or what their product catalog looks like. Always request a sample. There are some suppliers who will charge you for the samples. I was fortunate where the suppliers I work with, they did not charge me for the samples, but as I'm starting now to look at expanding my line and looking at other suppliers, I'm starting to notice a lot of them are, or they're giving like a little discount on the cost of their products. And other suppliers will just say, we'll send you samples, you just have to pay for shipping. So I tested out I tested 4 or 5 different brands, and that took the longest time because you need to be familiar with the product. Like the reason why you don't want to just say, oh, this looks cute, let me buy this in bulk, is you don't know if that product is quality or not. Just because the packaging is cute or it looks nice on the outside does not mean it's good, and you don't want to sell trash to people, because once you mess up, that's going to kill your brand and your credibility, and it's going to hinder your ability to be able to grow and move past that. So I spent months testing lip colors. I want to know how this looks when I first put it on. How does it look 8 hours later? Does it have staying power? Does it flake? Does it chip? How does it smell? And so some of the products I had, the colors are beautiful and long lasting, but they smelled awful. And I'm like, no woman's gonna wear this all day. So it really took a long time. And so don't try to rush and just like, if you're getting into lipsticks, like put it on your hand and just go, because the way lipsticks function and look on your hand versus on your mouth is 2 different things. So spent months testing it out, and then from there I was ready to place my product orders. And the more you buy, the cheaper it will be. However, I caution people when just starting out from buying a whole lot, because if the business isn't successful, you now just have all this extra inventory. So I just started out with a small amount, and I started, as soon as I got them in the mail, I did my own branding. So most companies will tell you there's a minimum order requirement of a couple thousand pieces in order for them to put your label and the packaging on the product. I wasn't buying that, so I used a company called StickerU.com to print my own labels, and I literally sat and put my stickers on over 100 bottles of product in my house. And then from there, I started to work on the website and put up social media pages and started to build buzz on social media. And I do have a Periscope live stream on how I build buzz on social media before actually having products out. So you can check out that live stream on Periscope. I'll link it below. So I was building a website, building stuff on social media. I was taking photos of the products. So I got some little props, and I started taking pictures of the products, of the bottles and the packaging for the site. I put on every color myself and took pictures in it because it was low budget. So I got like a photo wall, put it up, because I'm like, at this point, I'm not ready. I'm very conscientious about spending a lot of money at the beginning, because sometimes things just don't work out, and I'm not being a pessimist, but I'm just like, some things just aren't going to work. So I was not looking to spend a bunch of money on a photo shoot with models and photographers and MUAs where I know enough about makeup to do my own beat and take pictures in all my colors myself. So I took pictures of everything. I used a tripod and a timer and had actual camera, photo wall, so the pictures actually look good and they aren't selfies. And I took a bunch of pictures, so I've started to put those on the site, populate the site, and I started to do little teasers on social media. From there, I also put out a call for brand ambassadors as well as a launch team. So brand ambassadors are people who on a monthly basis will promote my brand, promote my product. They get an affiliate code, and in exchange for people using their codes, they're eligible to get free products. The launch team, on the other hand, was just around launch day activities. So we launched April 7th. They were supposed to help out with launch day and launch weekend activities, and they're all, you'll start to see blogs and YouTube videos from them later on this month around like what they thought of the product. So I sent each one of them a free product, let them pick out their own color, send them a free product in the mail, give them some time to test it. And on launch day, what happened was at noon, everyone posted their pictures or videos at the same time on Instagram and some other social networks, where they had to use our hashtag Life of a Bombshell and mention our Instagram handle. So I had that out, and I built, what I did for them is I put that call for brand ambassadors out on social media. I had an application process. I was looking for people who love makeup, who align with my brand, and who had good engagement. I don't really care so much about the follower count. I care about your comments, your likes, your engagement. How fun are you on social media for people, etc. Are you trustworthy? Do you have integrity? I also started my PR efforts. So I paid for an hour consulting session with the PR strategist by the name of Candace Nicole out of DC, and we talked about my PR plan. Like, I wanted to make sure the Life of a Bombshell got press coverage, and she helped me to understand how and when to best reach out. So I crafted my own press release. This was my first time writing one. Normally I hire someone else to do it, but because I needed it so fast, I wrote it myself. So I did that, and within 24 hours, I already secured 3 press placements. So Life of a Bombshell had press the night before we launched and the day before we launched, and we have a couple more press junkets coming out. So another thing to do is start making a spreadsheet of blogs, magazines, online radio shows and podcasts that your potential customers will listen to and that align with your brand, and start pitching them, sending out your press releases, sending out free products, whatever. So a caveat to that is you do need to set aside some free products giveaway. Like, you need to get people out wearing your stuff and testing it out so that people can see, how quality it is. So you need to set aside a budget to have free products, your promo budget, whatever, and don't, send that stuff out. Don't be afraid of sharing your products. So from there, I talked about launch day. Let me go back a little bit. Social media buzz. So every time I would post on social media, I would post a fun caption, but then I would always say, Life of a Bombshell is launching soon. Become a Bombshell Insider, and you'll get a discount, VIP discount code, etc., etc. So I was building a mailing list for over a month and a half before the business launched, because email marketing, no matter what industry you're in, is king, and it's where the most of your money is going to come from. So I started building an email list. So at 10 a.m. that day, the email went out around the site is live, here's your discount code. So I have metrics around that, and I set up Google Analytics on my website too, so I can see where people are coming from, whether they're coming from email, social media, etc. Google Analytics is free. And then from there, this past weekend, I've just been stuff in order. So I have pink envelopes. I showed you guys in the last video the sheet of print bags, stickers, all kind of different things, little thank you cards. So thinking about the brand experience. When people get my products in the mail, like, I want them to have the same experience they would have as if I was with them in person and giving it to them. So thinking about how can you create a brand experience even when you're not there. And I thought about the brand experience from the website process, the checkout process, emails, all of that stuff. So the story of Life of a Bombshell. One other thing that I said that I was going to add to this video was the anxiety that I had on launch day. So y'all, I had like a serious anxiety attack on launch day, and it wasn't because something went wrong, because I was getting a lot of sales on launch day. It was just a mixture of like excitement and nervousness, because there was like so many things going on Friday between my businesses, and I had a launch party that night in Pittsburgh where I live, and so I just kind of had like this freak out moment of just like, oh my god, like, I'm actually doing this, but I have other things that I have to do as well, while I'm also managing this launch, and it's just super intimidating and such a intense process. So if you can, on your launch day, automate as much as possible, automate social postings, emails, all of that, which is what I did, and just try to take the day off. Like, try to do a calming activity, something that's like where you're not glued to the computer checking emails or doing all this stuff all day, because that's just going to heighten your anxiety as opposed to easing it. And I shared that in the Facebook group, and a couple people were just like, yeah, I have felt that same thing. So kind of figuring out in advance what your coping mechanisms are when you're really stressed or you are nervous or you have anxiety, because in that moment I had never felt that before in that kind of situation. Like I've had anxiety issues before, but nothing to like that extent. I would say like I've never had that. So in that moment, like I found myself just like how it felt was like I just felt like my stomach was hurting, like I just felt tingling, like nervous, and like then I started crying, but not like boohoo crying, but like a tears just flowing. I'm just like something's wrong. So I text a really close friend of mine, and he called, and we just like talked through some things, and he's one that studied like cognitive psychology, so he knows like all of this stuff. And so he just kind of talked me through like, you know, this is why you're feeling like this. It's not necessarily that you're freaking out about something that's wrong. It's just a mix of like you're super excited but you're super busy and blah blah blah. So thankfully I had that friend that I can call in that instant, and after that conversation I felt calm. But just want to throw that out there to you guys. Like you will be excited on launch day, but there is a possibility that you may have supreme nervousness and anxiousness like I did, especially if you're having some kind of launch event. Like that is a whole other level. But figure out early on what your coping mechanisms are and have those things intact. And like to say, and to wrap it up, I did have a launch party that on launch day, local invitation only, where I sent it to friends and associates. Had it at, it was like a maybe 30, 40 people came out. I wanted it to be small, intimate. I catered from a black owned restaurant. I had food. I just got a box of wine. So let me tell y'all, box wine. Like I'm not one that actually drinks box wine, but it is clutch when you have an event, because one box for like $17 is 34 glasses. 34. So I got a box of wine, and I just got like water and like ginger ale or something. Around the room I put decorations up, cute little makeup bags. I had pink Jolly Ranchers everywhere, little, inspirational quotes, and then I had testers of the products. I had these mirrors that prop up. I had a couple of those around the room, and all of the lipsticks and then sanitizer and all of that stuff, so people could actually try them on there. We had a photo wall, people could take pictures and see how they looked in different products, and at the end people had the opportunity to buy from me. So I did get a square readers, people could pay with a card, and there I had all my products brand new, and I put them in the little cheetah print bags I showed you guys in the last video, and gave them their thank you for purchasing card, and make sure to remind them to take a picture and put it on social media. And I took a picture of everyone who bought something, with my camera holding up their purchases. And like, of course, we have photos from that night and video from that night. So if you look at Life of a Bombshell on Facebook, you will see photos from the launch party. So let me look at my list. I think I told you guys everything. So yeah, but Life of a Bombshell is just me. So I built my own website, I did my own logo, I did all my social media, I created all of my own graphics. I did everything, and it's time consuming. So I'm not saying it to brag. I'm just saying that one, it's feasible, but two, give yourself enough time to actually execute this, because it is not an overnight thing. No matter how good at branding and business you are, it's still cumbersome, especially when you're doing your own labeling. So if you have a team, you are blessed and you are fortunate. But if it's just you, you can do it. Startup costs, and I'm probably going to get that question. It really depends on your supplier and how much you want to buy. Because again, if you have a startup budget, the more products you buy, the cheaper they will be. The less products you buy, the more expensive it will be. So I would say with the first round of products, the branding, the stickers and the labels, the cheetah bags, the envelopes that they went in, the tissue paper, the stickers, I would say I probably spent around $500. That's not including, like, if you don't have a business license already, that's not including the cost of your LLC, or anything like that. So, or if you get a new bank account, you may have to put some money down for that. So that's just like a rough estimate. But again, that's going to change depending on how many products you order, how you do your labeling. If you decide to do fancy packaging, like I said, I got pink envelopes, pink tissue paper, and cheetah bags. Like you may not think that that's necessary for your brand, and that's okay. I will tell you that eBay is a great source for things like pretty envelopes, tissue paper, cute things to put your packaging in. In terms of the little postcards, I use Vistaprint. So Vistaprint is great. They always have sales. It's great for ordering those branded materials. I got stickers and return labels from them as well. I bought a postage scale from eBay for $17 that I can put my packages on and weigh them so that I can buy postage online in advance instead of posting in the line at the post office. If you're doing your own graphics, if you don't have access to Adobe Photoshop, Canva.com or AdobeSpark.com are, or I would say just Google Adobe Sparks. I'm not sure if that's the website, but those are great free photo tools, as well as PicMonkey is another great photo tool if you're doing your own graphics as well. So I think that basically covers everything. Thank you guys for watching my first story time video. If you have any questions about anything I talked about, starting your own e-commerce business, getting into the beauty game, Life of a Bombshell, comment those questions below. I'll leave my contact information below. Please connect with me on social media and connect with my business on social media. I'll leave all of that down below. If you're interested in makeup, make sure you go to lifeofabombshell.com and get on our mailing list. And with that, you guys, I'm going to talk to you in the next video. Bye.